Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck all had some interesting comments to say about the Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones arrest that took place the other day via the FBI. And I want to get into some of those comments. Get this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Somebody hit my theme music.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. This is my show. This is my camera. I run it. Oh!
All right, now, before we dive into the video, we got to play a numbers game real quick, okay? And it's going to set up some of the things that is going to be discussed in the video. Chauncey Billups' career earnings, $106.8 million. His salary currently as the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers is it's over $4.7 million because he re-upped with the team, signed a 2-year extension. Damon Jones' career earnings, $22 million. And he was serving as an assistant for the LA Lakers at the time a lot of this stuff took place. And Terry Rozier's current contract, which he signed with the Charlotte Hornets and then traded to Miami Heat, 4 years, $96.3 million. Now, we discussed this before. The $96.3 million contract he signed, now he plays for the Miami Heat. They could potentially get their draft pick back that they traded for him, on top of the fact the NBA could decide, because it could have been a trade done in bad faith, knowing all of this was going on behind the scenes, they could potentially wipe his contract from the Miami Heat books. So there's a lot riding on this entire investigation while Rozier and Billups are on the lead. But this is what Inside the NBA had to say about the situation.
You feel free to weigh in now, Shaq. You've heard from Shams. You saw the FBI director speaking about this. What do you think?
I know everybody that's at play, and I don't like to sit up here and be hypocritical about certain things. I homeboy gamble, Ernie. You know, bet it. You know, we've been on teams. We played cards. We played spades. We played tonk. But with that being said, every year they would give us forums on what and what not to do. One of those things where if somebody asks you if a certain player is playing, you say no. So all these guys knew what was
meaning
at stake.
Not answer the question.
I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position. We all know the rules. We all know the letter of the law, and it's just unfortunate. Innocent till proven guilty. But usually when the FBI has something, they have you. You know, FBI, I know a lot of people from the FBI, and I've been in many of those investigations. They'll wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but when they come knocking on your door, they have something. And we all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling. And I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing. But I know Chauncey, I know Damon very well, played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here. But I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's old saying.
Now, this is a very blanket statement. Why even put yourself in the position? You know better. Right and wrong, black and white. Now your family's got to deal with the outcome. Very, very much a blanket statement from Shaq. But Kenny and Chuck have two opposing views that we have to discuss. As soon as Kenny, gets going and Chuck gets going, we have to discuss it because there's a perspective that both of these men provide, and they're both right. But it just depends on what type of situation we're dealing with all of these allegations going on.
All money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. Put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA. I agree with you, Chuck. They dropped the ball.
100%.
You never want to have your name involved in that when you know the letter of the law. And Ernie, again, I know for a fact every year they cancel practice and say don't do this and don't do that and don't do that. So all the guys had the information. So
Let's let Kenny get in on this thing.
Well, It's super unfortunate. You know, one, because we look at players that are involved and the people that are involved. You know, we're surprised because when you have access and you're at the top of your game, so to speak, as a coaching profession, a player, or whatever, you're at the top of the game, you have access to millions and millions of dollars in this league. So it was surprising that they would put themselves in that position, possibly. It is an innocent until proven guilty. I think the other part is we have to realize gambling is an addiction. So the addiction of it is what.
Now, did you see that? I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to let it play. Watch
Guilty.
Charles Barkley.
I think the other part is we have to realize gambling is an addiction. So
Look at his face right here. He's not in agreement, but Kenny is also not wrong. Again, might be correct. It just depends on what situation we're dealing with.
addiction of it is what makes you make illogical decisions. So not because you make $9 million. There are people who are making, as the FBI director said, there's a man who lost $1.8 million. That means he has a lot of money, so he has an addiction.
Not
to
always.
That. Those
He could have
fish
been
that
losing
they
somebody
talk
else's
about
money.
that they were bringing in. So gambling is an addiction which can make you make illogical decisions regardless of your ethnic background, regardless.
Now, what he's saying is correct in theory, but does it apply here?
Of your physical background and regardless of your financial status. So let's understand that. And I disagree in terms of the NBA dropping the ball. This is an ongoing investigation. There's no way that any FBI or police even would come to anyone and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the surprise element always makes it happen. So they cannot overextend the information that they're receiving. And this is about individuals. And last, and I'll let you talk, Chuck. I will
I wish
say
you
this.
would, because you're making me mad right here.
Well, I can make you mad and you can make me mad. I just have my opinion. You're going to have yours. But I also think that because there are people who get speeding tickets doesn't mean everyone in the league speeds. And
Fair statement. And this goes back to Shaq's point. You doing this puts the league in a bad spot. Not just you, not just your family. Now the whole league has to deal with the idea of, all right, Pascal Siakam had a bad game tonight. Did he tell somebody to take the unders? That's what we're dealing with from now on. And we were already dealing with it, but now it's I mean, Perk likes to say, saying the quiet thing out loud.
so don't look at this group of people that's starting to get investigated as the entire list.
Really just want this.
Facts.
You say the league dropped the ball on the Rozier part of this?
Yes.
Because they had already looked at it and said we didn't have enough, but not on the Chauncey. They didn't drop the ball on
First
Chauncey
of all, these are two
Billups.
different things.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
two different things.
So the league dropped
this
the
is not
ball
Chauncey.
on Rozier, you
Take
say.
Chauncey out the equation.
All right.
And the reason I'm mad at Kenny is, man, this ain't got nothing to do with damn gambling addiction. This ain't got nothing to do with addiction. These dudes are stupid.
Why are they stupid?
Under no circumstances can you fix basketball games. Under no circumstances. I love to gamble. The notion, like, Rozier makes $26 million. Him betting, giving people information or taking himself out of games, how much is he gonna benefit taking himself out the game to get unders?
Now, Kenny says it's an addiction problem, gambling, that leads you to make some stupid choices. Like I said, correct in theory. Charles saying you're just making a stupid decision. It takes me back to Tim Donaghy, all right? When they were fixing games as referees, when they were controlling the outcome, one of the things he talked about is that type of power, that whatever call you make or don't make, when you choose to go after Allen Iverson consistently, that power you have for all the referees to come together and say, we're going to zero in on this because he does this, and we're going to make sure he has a rough night. That power complex, that can be a part, that can be an addiction part. When you look at the situation, you see Chauncey as a coach, Damon Jones as a coach, and you have that power where you say a player is not going to play, a player is going to play extended minutes, a player is going to come out early because they're on a minutes restriction, you're not going to play at all tonight, that type of power, that can be an addictive part of it. And then also, yes, the addiction to gambling. But the thing that Charles Barkley is getting at, and it's something that I agree with, this is simply being greedy. You don't need the money. You don't. If I'm Terry Rozier, I signed a $96.3 million deal. I'm making $26.6 million this year. And guess what? In my leave of absence, I'm still getting paid.
What?
Still making my money. Why are we doing this? Why are we even considering taking this route? They said in the allegations that after the deal went through, after the bet cleared, $200,000 was brought to his house. I'm pretty sure he makes more than that per game he plays. Why are we doing this? Even the idea that you could be involved is enough. Don't even play around with it. Don't get near it. Don't be by it. Now, to Chuck's point, you may not be an addict, but you're probably, you're probably thinking you won't get caught. You're probably thinking, hey, this is just a one-time thing, quick hit, we good, right? Then going back and doing it multiple times, or Chauncey Billups, now we're going to have a whole room full of former players or coaches or whatever. I mean, somebody said Kevin Garnett was there. Somebody said Ty Lue was there. I seen something floating around. A number of former players and coaches and current coaches were involved in being in the room, being at the poker games. That's greed, man. That's greed.
Like, he's making $26 million.
Mm-hmm.
The notion he gave, how much of these guys he gave a head up, he took himself out of games on prop bets. How much money is he gonna make?
Well, if he did that, you're proving my point.
What do you mean? That
means
that's
that
not
it's
addiction.
an illogical thought process.
No.
If you're making $26 million to try.
If he's addicted, he's doing it multiple times, or he's done it multiple times. They can only look at maybe one or two instances where they say, okay, he actually did it. Because there's other games where there is an influx of bets placed on his unders, and he went crazy. I think the line was at under 4 rebounds or under 3.5 rebounds. He got 8 that night. So there's situations where he absolutely didn't do it. But the situation that we're looking at, yes, there's a possibility. That's the difference between you're an addict or you're just making a stupid decision thinking you won't get caught. Chuck is talking about this particular situation being just a stupid decision.
Try to win 50,000. Like, that's illogical. So that you're proving my point.
No,
It
that's
is an
not
addiction.
addiction. That's stupidity.
The same reason someone goes and uses drugs when they're in the NBA.
Hey, drugs are addiction.
So there's no gambling addiction?
No, yeah, they are gambling addiction. But the notion that you're trying to make sure for these guys being addicted, you can't fix basketball games. You cannot fix. Like I say, this is separate from Chauncey. But the notion that guys are making all this money and giving information, come on, man, stop that.
And he's 100% right. I 100% agree with Chuck on this. Even though Kenny is not wrong in theory, this is just a stupid situation to find yourself in. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments. I mean, do you agree with Chuck or do you agree with Kenny? That's one more for the good guys.